street. They believe he shot and killed a woman who was driving home from work. This is a picture of Beverly Jenkins. Police considered the man who killed her armed and dangerous. Channel 2's Nefertiti Jáquez spoke with her husband today.
Well, I've been covering this case since Beverly Jenkins was murdered and spoke to her husband earlier today. He tells me that he is thankful to the detectives who've been working diligently on this case, but says that it's bittersweet. He's happy about the latest arrests, but says he's also sad about losing the heart and soul of his family.
We've identified, we believe, all 4 people that were present at the time of the Beverly Jenkins homicide.
We were there Wednesday afternoon when the commander of the major crime section took to the podium to announce APD had arrested Adarius Jones and are currently looking for Khalid Bays. Homicide detectives say Jones and Bays are 2 of the 4 men seen in this video that was captured by a home security camera just moments before Jenkins was shot and killed at the intersection of Hopkins Street and Westview Drive. For a little over a month, investigators have been working several tips and leads, but to no avail. Then a big break in the case after these 2 suspects were involved in a carjacking on September 17th along Ralph David Abernathy. A day later, those same suspects led police on a chase when officers spotted the vehicle they were in.
During that carjacking, the victim was shot twice. Those shell casings were turned into our evidence lab and then were rapidly connected to the Beverly Jenkins homicide. So the same gun was used in that carjacking that was used in our homicide.
The chase came to an end after the duo wrecked at Maddox Park. The pair jumped out of the car and tried to make a run for it. Adarius Jones was quickly caught, but Khalid Bays managed to take off. As for the other 2 suspects, they have been identified, but no charges have been filed. As for Jones, he's expected to be in court tomorrow at 11 o'clock in the morning. We're in downtown Atlanta. Nefertiti Jáquez, Channel 2 Action News.
Here is one more look at a picture of Khalid Bays. Investigators say he could have changed his hair and he could be violent. There is a $5,000 reward. If you know where he is, call Crime Stoppers at 404-577-8477. That's 404-577-TIPS.
Right now in a hotel carjacking that we have been following all day, police say that they have 3 people in custody in connection with the crime at a Buckhead hotel. Police have also tracked down the stolen Dodge Challenger vehicle. We were the only ones there when police went through that car for evidence. Channel 2's Christian Jennings live at the DoubleTree Hotel in Buckhead now. So Christian, you got an update from Atlanta police here in the last 20 minutes.
Police say the investigation is just beginning. They also say that they're still working to determine if the 3 men that they have in custody actually committed that carjacking that happened here. Right now, those men are not charged with any crime. They are still being questioned. Meanwhile, people we talked to at this hotel in Buckhead say they are just shocked to know that such a violent crime occurred here. Channel 2 was the only news station there in southwest Atlanta Thursday afternoon when police found a Dodge Challenger stolen during a carjacking at the DoubleTree Hotel in Buckhead just after midnight. Detectives say 3 people are now in custody.
We were just outside and all the police officers were coming up and talking to the valet parkers and looking at keys and stuff.
Atlanta police say the hotel worker robbed was assisting the valet drivers, taking a guest's keys to the valet box when a masked man with a gun approached them. The valet worker we talked to didn't feel comfortable showing her face on camera.
They actually ran up to actually say, "Give me those keys." And we actually gave them to them and they ran off. They most definitely had an armed weapon with them. It most definitely looked like a 45, most definitely.
She told us she noticed 2 guys hanging out in the area before.
So in the midst of us being outside, there were 2 guys that was outside on the bench. I know for probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours, that it looks kind of skeptical.
We've asked Atlanta police if there is surveillance video they will be releasing. We are waiting to hear back on that regard. We've also asked for them to keep us posted on what they find inside that vehicle and let us know when any charges are indeed made against those 3 people in custody. Reporting live here in Buckhead, Christian Jennings, Channel 2 Action News.
On the loose after 2 separate shootings just minutes apart. Investigators believe the same suspect exchanged gunfire with a group of men who had just left work, then shot and robbed somebody. Channel 2's Darren Moore's live in southwest Atlanta. And Darren, in both cases, the victims gave similar descriptions of the shooter.
And here's what they told police, Fred. The gunman was wearing dreads. He was in a dark-colored Chevy with a woman behind the wheel. But the first shooting happened right across the street at that Shell gas station. Overnight, Atlanta police got a call of shots fired on Lee Street at the Shell gas station. A group of men riding in a pickup truck told officers a passenger in a car stared them down and for no reason pulled out a gun and started shooting.
And then fired multiple shots at the victims, striking their vehicle at least 2 times.
One of the guys in the pickup truck pulled out his gun.
The victims actually returned fire, shooting at the suspect as well. They don't know if they actually struck the suspect.
16 minutes later and 2 miles away, officers got another call about a robbery and a person shot on Campbellton Road.
The suspect then took the victim's cell phone and actually shot the victim anyway.
Police believe the shootings could be related.
We have a similar vehicle description. We have a similar suspect description.
And the robbery victim was shot in the foot. He'll be okay, but we'll check in with APD to see if they were able to track down that suspect and bring you any new information on Channel 2 Action News at noon and also at 4.
Escape from NiggaVille. How do you get away from all the crime, issues, and problems you see in an urban setting like Atlanta? Today is Friday. It is September 21st. The year is 2018. You just saw 3 news reports of various crime that took place here in Atlanta over the past few weeks. A grandmother was shot and killed while leaving her job by 4 young men. I guess they were attempting to carjack her car. As to why they shot her and causing her to wreck, and then when she crashed into a ditch, and when people went to see what happened, they found the woman shot in the head in her vehicle. Those men have now been apprehended. They're looking for one after they shot another victim at a gas station, and she was only 24 years of age. She was going into a gas station late at night, en route to the gas station she frequently went to and felt safe at. These men shot her, these young boys shot her when she walked out of the gas station and stole her car. They even had the audacity to come back into the gas. She stumbled back into the store. They went inside and took her car keys from her and then drove off in her car, which was the white Altima you saw that been wrecked. So you have 2 women, 1 dead, 1 critically injured, and 2 incidents, and God knows what else these teenagers have done. Then you look at this carjacking that took place up there in Buckhead in the middle of a prestigious neighborhood off Peachtree Street. You have to wonder, how can you get away from this type of crime? How can you get away from these individuals? How can you go someplace safe? How can you live someplace safe? Well, first you got to escape from NiggaVille. You got to escape from living in a predominantly urban area that has predominantly black citizens who live under the poverty level, because that seems to be the problem. These teenagers that we see out here, 15, 16, 17 years of age, 18, who are robbing, shooting, and killing, are growing up in homes that you all wouldn't understand. See, as a community, we've stopped caring about these children. These kids are growing up in homes without food, running water. I have a friend who's 22, 23 years of age. He's been through a lot of stuff in his life. At first, this is the young man who said, I was lame and whack. I don't know if y'all remember that about a year ago. He's about 23, 24 now. He said I was lame and whack. But we've become more close over the past few months, because I see him from time to time. He's always clowning and acting out. And I always walk and say, what is going on? I bumped into him at a event, and he was literally fighting this guy. And I was like, they broke him up, and I was like, what are you fighting this guy for? What is going on here? This man grew up in a household by himself. He didn't have anybody to cook for him, feed him, take care. He had to fend for himself for everything all his life. There were times he woke up, there was no electricity, no water, and no adult to be found, and he was a kid. They just, and when he tells me these stories, I just sit silent, because I understand the difficulties faced. He's just now learning how to read. We drive by these kids, and we see these kids on street corners hanging out. We don't understand the background of these kids. We don't understand these kids haven't had any food, a warm bed to sleep in, clean clothes, a shower, a bath in days. Why do you think these kids will pick up a gun and shoot and kill somebody? Because they felt like nobody gave a damn. I've said this over and over and over. God, and I wish I had the money to help these kids, to go into these communities and adopt these children and give them the type of, I can honestly say my parents did provide for us as children. We didn't go without. These kids, they don't have a bed to sleep in, hot food to eat, socks to put on their feet, shoes to put on their damn feet, food in the kitchen cabinets, they don't even know what that is. An empty refrigerator if they have a refrigerator on, no electricity, no running water, no gas and heat. See, we ignored this because it's not happening to us. But I saw it right here in my own family. My sister Mia, her children lived like this. And she didn't have to have to happen. But that was a decision she made because she was just mentally, but she was not stable. So you got a lot of mentally unstable people having children, and they're not providing for these kids. So these kids are left to fend and go out and fight to survive. And they don't care about killing you or shooting you or harming a woman or shooting a woman or killing her. They don't care. Because they know that nobody cared about them. They feel as if nobody cared because no one did care about them. That's why I'm scared when I see these kids at nighttime. I'm not a nighttime person because nighttime was getting. And another issue, since 2008, and when the economy tanked in 2008, the situation for many black Americans has not improved since it went off a cliff in 2008. If you don't have an education, you don't know how to provide, and some people are struggling, and it's taking, these kids are catching the burn. That's why this crime rate continues to rise. And these are some heinous crimes. They will kill you. They took those young men and stole that car up there at that hotel, and the car was retrieved later. Did they not know the car would not be found? The car was tracked, and they found that car. These kids they're immature, no education, no opportunities. No one's cared for them. NiggaVille has become a very deadly place. When you ride through the Foster cab, which I go out there frequently, there is a horrible out there. And I see these packs of kids running on, like gangs of kids, roaming around with nothing to do. And they should be in school. And they should be at home. And the funny part is at nighttime, these areas come to life. Because these kids are out on the streets when they should be at home in bed. It's odd to me how many of the leaders in our black communities have not attempted to tackle this issue. The poverty in our communities. That has gotten worse and worse and worse. We don't see it. I guess because we see shiny iPhones and fancy cars up and down Peachtree Street, we tend to ignore the young people who need the help the most. That's why I said if I had it, I wish I could help them. Because when I listen to my friend who's now 23, 24, I forget the boy's age, and he tells me the stories of him having to go into Walmart and steal grits, a bag of grits, so he can go home and cook something, have something to eat, because there was nobody there to cook the food for him. His mother was never really there. His mother would get a food stamp card and sell all the food stamps instead of buying food for him and his brothers and sisters. They were just there alone. His sister was prostituting, selling her body in their home while their brothers watched to make sure she would invite, his older sister was literally prostituting in their home when their mother was gone. She was nowhere to be found. They needed money. Her brothers would watch over the men coming in and out to make sure they wouldn't harm her. These were teenagers, preteens, watching their sister, who couldn't have been, he said she couldn't have been no more than 17, 18 years of age. I'm thinking, this is horrible. I dropped him off at his house one day where he lives at, and I was like, my God, this is where you all live? I was in shock. I was in shock. I couldn't believe my eyeballs. He's had a rough life. It's not getting any better for him. There's a lot of issues there. I look at these kids and I understand what they're going through. I never thought in a million years in 2018 the situation for Black American children would be worse. And it is worse. NiggaVille is not safe. Everybody keeps saying it takes a village, but a village is in disarray. You can't live in these environments anymore. If you are a good, outstanding, upright citizen and you're trying to live a normal life, you can't live around these urban areas. Too dangerous. It's just the risk is too high. You have to go someplace safe. Go someplace where you can live a normal life. Without harm, without being shot. And if you do live in these areas, you better be careful at nighttime. It's so funny that young man who I was just talking about, every night he calls me. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, dude, it's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. I'm getting in bed. He's just getting up. He got a little job working. He's working some job, but he can't at nighttime. He's just, the streets he got to be out in the streets. I said, shouldn't you be resting so you can go to work tomorrow? Well, I have to be at work until noon. I said, okay, well, go stay in the house. You got to hit them streets. He's always someplace. He's always in a catastrophe. Always. They love these streets. And the streets are dangerous. He said well, I do remember him telling me he doesn't like being at home. He don't like being at home. He said he just don't like it. He wants to get his own place. This man has struggled. I feel sorry for these Black children. I was reading a post on Facebook, and somebody was encouraging people to go out and have children for their legacy. But what's the purpose of having children if you cannot feed them, house them, clothe them, take care of them? What is the point of this? What's the point of having children if you don't know how to have any intentions of loving them? Welcome to NiggaVille, y'all, where there is no love for these young children. And they're taught to go out to the world. That's why they're such monsters. You can't stay in these areas. You got to escape from these areas. You have to go someplace and live your life safely. Go to communities outside of the city. Stop going to communities that are filled with urban areas that are filled with poverty-stricken Black folks. Especially if you don't have the funds and finances to fix these issues. You're putting yourself in harm's way. Sometimes it's better to pay a little bit more in rent and go someplace and be safe versus being in an area that's so horrible and your life is at risk and everything you do, whether it's going to a grocery store or valet parking your car. And that situation took up there in Buckhead is a safe neighborhood. Good Lord, look at what they did. It's a good thing they did. They took the car, but nobody got hurt at that hotel because it could have went much worse. I don't know what to say about these urban areas as people continue to bring children into the world and they're not loving them, feeding them, clothing them, housing them. It's a horrible situation in our communities. Welcome to NiggaVille, y'all. Now we got to escape from NiggaVille. And we're going to explore. I'm going to do some videos right now. How do you get out of it? How do you find a safe place for you, your family, your children? How do you not end up in NiggaVille? Those are a lot of questions I'm going to explore. Anyway, today it is Friday, September 21st, year is 2018. I'm doing a series of videos trying to figure out how do you escape from NiggaVille? How do you get someplace safe? Where can you go? We got to figure this out. If you like my videos, click like, share them with family members and friends. Today is Friday. Get out and do something productive with your life. And let's get started on the series Escape from NiggaVille. I'm out of here.